Let me introduce Shimazu-san from Nikkei Journalist.
Thank you for your time today. Especially Masa came all the way from Japan. Yeah, thank you very much.
Very good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, at first, let me introduce myself. My name is Sho Shimazu from Nikkei Business Publications. Nikkei is one of the biggest media conglomerate in Japan, and I worked in the magazine division, and I am today's moderator. Yeah. And I just moved to the US Silicon Valley office just 3 months ago, and I am not good at English, so please forgive me to use interpreters to listen. Yeah, today I'd like to talk about the current status and issues concerning artificial intelligence and digital transformation. From my point of view, as society is coming a turning point where AI and the other technologies are taking over decision making, but I think that the risk of AI still remains yet. So today I'd like to hear about the challenges and problems we are facing and the solution to them. In the first half, I like to ask questions about each of the three companies, and the second half, I will be in a conversation. Yeah, let's start to talk. First of all, I'd like to hear an introduction to each company. Ari, can you introduce yourself and your company within 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited. So Databricks is a company that's almost 10 years old. It's about 5,000 employees. And we help organizations take massive amounts of data and get value from it. So they can do analytics, they can do machine learning, data science on that data. So that's what Databricks does. We have 21 offices. We are investing heavily actually this year in Asia in general, but specifically in Japan. So there are all kinds of interesting use cases that I will tell you about, but we cover everything from just getting the data in, securing it, preparing the data, all the way to creating dashboards with insights, all the way to machine learning predictions that you can use in decision making or completely automated as part of your business. Our approach is a little unique because in our approach we have this architecture we call lakehouse. And the lakehouse is unification or combination of many different things. So you can today go and buy 5, 6 data platforms and combine them manually, but it's costly, it's very complicated, and it takes a lot of time. With Databricks, we simplified it. So we unified it all into just one platform called Lakehouse. So it's like 5 platforms in one. So it's much simpler, much cheaper, and you can move much faster if you have this one simple platform. So that's what we do, and we call that the data lakehouse.
Yeah, thank you very much. I understand the overview of your company. I will ask again later for the details. Next, Masa, please.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Masashi Namatame, Group Chief Digital Officer of Tokio Marine Holdings. As some of you may already know, Tokio Marine is our P&C insurance companies, as well as providing some life insurance businesses as well. We have approximately 40,000 employees worldwide, running businesses across 46 countries in the world, and most of the overseas businesses reside in this country, United States. We have 143 and getting to be 144 years of company history, which is getting to be aged, but we try to be as young and as growing as Ali and Yaron-san has been currently doing in their own respective companies. aspiration is quite the same, even for older companies like Tokio Marine. And Tokio Marine historically providing auto insurances and property insurances against fire and flood. But nowadays we are now growing the coverage of the businesses towards more futuristic or reflection of social development kind of things. Some of them is D&O, directors and officers insurances, or workers' compensation, which may be coverage for the workers in the companies in case of injuries or diseases. So we are aspired to even further grow by fully utilizing the technology and insurance experiences all together. By way of background myself, I joined Tokio Marine as recent as 4 years ago, most recently from BlackRock, asset management company. Even prior to that, I have working experiences in a company called Visa, payment technology company, as well as investment banks like Deutsche Bank and Morgan Stanley. I started my career in the derivatives area, dealing with a number of quant related kind of things, which might be the basis for me being digital related officers for insurance companies. And that's pretty much it about Tokio Marine and myself.
Yeah, thank you very much. Next, Yaron, please.
Hi, so I'm Yaron Singer. I'm CEO and co-founder here at Robust Intelligence. I hope all of you here know me. So I think we're still we're a startup company. So I guess between like 40,000 and 5,000 employees, we're closer to 5,000 employees. I think that's
and between 144 years and 10 years.
So we're closer to that. And then what we do at Robust Intelligence, we're a machine learning integrity company, and basically what that means is that we help organizations eliminate AI risk, right? So the problem that we're addressing is that organizations like Tokio Marine and other companies that are getting models into production, in many cases, or most cases that we've seen using Databricks, right? The next problem that they have as they're putting models into production is that often models fail, right? And models fail for like a variety of reasons. Some of them can be operational reasons, some of them can be due to fairness and bias issues, and some of them can be other kind of like security issues. So as models fail for like kind of these variety of reasons, they introduce risk into an enterprise. So what we do is we do continuous validation of models. And what that means is that we connect, in kind of like to different data sources throughout the different production life cycle of a model, and we continuously validate, models and data pre-production, during production, post-production to, basically prevent, any failures and risks from occurring, and when they occur, basically identify them as quickly as possible and help organizations like debug them and eliminate them. We're a young company, but we're fortunate to work with huge financial institutions, big insurance companies like Tokio Marine and others. We actually also, thanks to great leadership from Databricks, we're actually a Databricks partner. So all these things allow us to kind of like move quicker and help organizations that care about models failing, de-risk, AI.
We have some readers who are not technology experts. Could you please explain some technical terms? For example, Databricks uses the keyword lakehouse. What is the difference between a lakehouse and a data lake or data warehouse?
Yeah, so in big organizations, you have data in many different places, and this creates silo. So if you want just to have a dashboard with numbers in them, you typically buy a data warehouse, and you buy also a business intelligence tool like Tableau. If you want to do machine learning, you have images, or you have recordings, from a car. That's different data. You do not put that in data warehouse. You put that in a different storage, which can handle much more data, called the data lake. And there are other places also where you store your data. And this makes it complicated in organizations to get value out of data because the data is in many different places. In the data lake for big data, in the data warehouse for structured data, and we're trying to simplify that. So we called it lakehouse because lake comes from data lake, house comes from data warehouse. So when you combine these, it becomes lakehouse. But beyond that, we want to simplify the data stack so that you just have one copy of the data, one place where you can specify security access control, who can access the data, and you can use that one copy and one security to democratize access and insights to the whole organization. So the data platform is not just for data scientists, not just for data engineers, not just for business analysts, not just for administrators. It's for all the different personas so they can work together and collaborate. Because in a large organization, many people need to touch the data, not just one group. So we are trying to simplify and reduce the costs and make companies more effective with data. Today it's complicated. You need 5-6 platforms.
Yeah, thank you very much. From your perspective, what are the problems or challenges that large traditional companies are facing today regarding data? Why is the handling of unstructured data so important? And why are there a lot of needs for your lakehouse platform from many companies?
Yeah, for large organizations, one challenge we see, for instance, in Japan is just moving to the cloud. So cloud adoption is one challenge. But the second is security, privacy. You have data, but can you access it? And is it going to leak? Or is it going to, wrong people will get the access to the data? Or maybe the machine learning will have certain biases when it trains on the model. So security, privacy, cloud. So there are many challenges that IT departments face. They also have many old legacy systems. If a company has been around for 100 years, there are many different systems. So that also creates challenge. And then also the organization. So the organization inside the company have different departments, and just getting the different departments aligned and collaborating and cooperating with each other can be difficult. It can get political in any large organization. Then third challenge is people, skill set. How much do you know about data? How much do you know about machine learning? Maybe a small group knows, but not all of the 100,000 employees. So those are 3 challenges. We try to help by simplifying this. If you have a simpler platform that can work with multiple personas, you can get the departments to work together. And you can also lower the barrier, so more people in the organization can use the platform. And then finally, we also try to help with the organization structure. If you can get everybody in a large enterprise to collaborate on the data, you can remove obstacles. So for instance, one way you could do that is you can have center of excellence where everybody works together, where you have all the different data projects. Otherwise, sometimes the projects get stuck. This department is waiting for data access on that department. That department is waiting to get new budget for this data project, and so on. So this slows down projects. So in short answer, we are trying to simplify this and make it simpler for large enterprises.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to ask Masa a question. Now I talked about the challenge of the large companies. Tokio Marine is also one of the biggest companies in Japan. What are some your challenges you feel the use of data?
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Sho. First of all, what Ali explained earlier about more of a general understanding of how a typical large organization works in terms of data and actually business behaviors among the people. That exactly characterizes what's going on right now within our company, and as well as most of the other large companies as well. But before that, before talking about how we integrate the data or how we unify the data, we may want to touch upon how we better transfer the nature of the insurance businesses from what we are to what we should be. Because historically, as I said, more than 140 years, we are providing insurance, we are receiving insurance premiums from the individual or corporate customers, and making an insurance payment post incidents like accidents, disease, or natural catastrophes damages. But those damages or severities are getting severer and severer as a result of for example, aging populations, or as a result of climate changes, or as a result of motorizations all over the world. So just simply providing the insurance payment at the back end doesn't necessarily make full sense in order for us to best provide the services for the increasingly severe circumstances. That's number one thing. And as I said earlier, climate change is even more severe, so we need to be fully prepared for that. And also, just in making an insurance payment, is it really meeting the expectations of clients? It's far better if we are able to provide some value-added services or products, more front-end services, meaning that if we are able to provide early detection of natural disasters, or early detection of diseases, or natural detection of auto accidents, any kind of omen or kind of precaution might be beneficial, so that we can provide some services and products on a kind of preemptive and proactive basis. So that is exactly we are aspire at to transforming the traditional insurance businesses towards the next level. But in order for us to do that, as Ali-san talked about, if we look at within our company's offices, all the data have been rather scattered, and they reside every place in different format and different structure, and it's really hard to combine and unify a number of different types of data in a unified format, so that we can come up with the preemptive and proactive understanding of what's going on, and or even more importantly, why it could happen or how it developed until the accidents or floods or diseases. So that is one of the biggest challenges we are having right now, and we are now by working together with Databricks, trying to unify the biotope of the data into one format, so we can just easily and precisely extract the true value of the data out of a unified data structure. And also, as I looked at the nature of the insurance company, it's not necessarily just structured data. There are so many unstructured data, like photo imagery, written information, and narrative kind of assessment of their accidents or damages whatsoever. That got to be in one place. But otherwise, it's just a bunch of stack of the paper format, just getting into the database, but it doesn't create any data, meaningful assessment about the disease or accidents or floods. So we would like to capture the meaningful value out of the unstructured data. And at that point, I had an occasion and honor to be able to get to know about Databricks, and I was almost shocked. And why not just working together? That exactly is the challenges and how we meet each other. About a year and a half ago. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. What is your mission or KPI of response to the program or solving the problem?
Well, my mission is as a chief digital officer. By the way, the meaning, definition of the digital is not just necessarily technology, nor data, nor electricity kind of things. The digit before digital, the word digit means 10 digits, 100 digits, 2 digits, or whatsoever, meaning something non-linear, something quantum. kind of things. So my mission as a chief digital officer is to transform the company in a quantum format to make a quantum leap towards the next level, meaning that we need to obtain new capabilities in a non-linear format. We need to deploy the services and products, which has not been unprecedented, not just using the technologies, but more kind of philosophical basis. We need to provide the even better value-added service for our society. So that's my mission. So through that mission, we hope that we will be able to create redefining the legacy insurance companies into a more of futuristic and forward-looking and more of a preemptive type of services companies for the worldwide society as society develops. So that is kind of my understanding of the mission of the Tokio Marine. And in terms of KPI, it's a really interesting question. Because of the nature of the digital, just until one day before digital occurs, it's really hard whether digital happens or not. That's exactly the nature of the digital. So we need to think about how best to estimate what is the probability of digital being occurring, or what will be the likelihood of us creating digitally transformed capabilities for our companies. So it's really difficult to state in a traditionally defined type of KPI, number of accounts or number of services, number of products, which is really difficult. But we would like to, in short, we'd like to create or digitally transformed organization and services and products. That is the KPI. So something happening digitally, that is a KPI to my understanding.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to ask Yaron, another problem in using data is AI mistakes or AI error in decision making. Could you please explain the current status of risks of AI?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever we're deploying, whenever we're deploying AI, machine learning technologies, then we sort of assume risk, right, as we're doing that. Why? Because really when we're thinking about it, in its name, artificial intelligence, right, what we're really doing is we're automating, in many cases, human decisions, right? And now when we're automating human decisions, the core technology behind machine learning is extremely simplistic, right? And in a good way, but also in a very dangerous way, right? So very, very small changes in the underlying data, or kind of like, or things that haven't, corner cases or things like that, can just immediately translate into bad mistakes by the technology, and by its virtue, what these mistakes translate into like kind of errors in high stake decision situations, right? So those are, whenever we're thinking about risks, we're thinking about these types of risks that come from like technical errors that happen to machine learning models in production, and then these mistakes translate into risks that an organization takes.
Yeah, thank you very much. These days, I heard that responsible AI and AI governance are gaining attention in the United States. Why are these trends growing or creating a new needs?
Yeah, so I think from our perspective, we think about them as, again, like kind of machine learning integrity, and the reason is because, number one, machine learning and AI is getting deployed. So really, as an engineering discipline, right, like machine learning and AI is a young discipline. So I think when Ali and I were in grad school, machine learning was an academic endeavor used by maybe some organizations like Google or Microsoft, or some of these like kind of leading organizations. And very large companies just didn't even have the infrastructure to sort of start deploying machine learning in this way. I think what Databricks is doing is basically it's enabling enterprises and all these organizations. They're really kind of like democratizing kind of machine learning in production, right? So until that happened, right? Like, people haven't, been experiencing all these issues with machine learning models failing because they just didn't have models in production. But now that they have models in production, right? All these risks are coming out. These risks of making biased decisions, these risks of, kind of models failing in dramatic ways, right? As these things are happening, we're also kind of, there are two things that, that are happening at the same time. Number one, the engineering community is waking up and it's starting to put standards and regulations into place. So we're seeing some things that are, kind of motions that are coming into play that are similar to what we're seeing in cybersecurity. So in cybersecurity, we have regulation, we have compliance, we have SOC 2 compliance, right? We have standards for what it means to deploy software in a safe way. On the other end, we have government that is, worried, about consumers and worried about people that are affected by AI, and is putting, again, these sort of like regulations into play. So that's why I think, as we're seeing machine learning models being deployed into production, enabled by, companies, like Databricks, right? And then now we're experiencing the effects of that.
Let me ask you the same question I asked Ari some time ago. What are some of the challenges that large traditional companies are facing right now regarding data, especially regarding AI?
So the things that we're seeing, and obviously, we have a biased perspective, no pun intended. But I think we're seeing things that are very much similar to, I think, what Ali was talking about, right? Where we're seeing at enterprises, like the first problem that we're seeing are organizational changes. You have 30, like in some of these large enterprises, you have like tens of data science teams, right? And now each data science team is running, kind of like its own, its own infrastructure, and these, the first thing is sort of consolidation, and we're seeing kind of like these enterprises moving into hubs and spokes models. Often, like from our customers, they're using Databricks. So they're moving into hubs and spokes models, right? Where now it's like everybody's running on the same infrastructure, and that's kind of like, that is like one of the biggest challenges that that we're seeing organizations facing. The second big challenge that we're seeing organizations facing is deploying models safely. So they're facing the fact that like these models fail. When they fail, these are, in many cases, these are critical errors. They hurt the business. They're worried about, a lot of companies, their models affect people's lives. They're worried about the risk that's involved. And that's, kind of like preventing them going into production. They need validation. They need CI/CD processes for machine learning to know that, that they're doing everything that they can to sort of be at kind of like engineering excellence levels, and also kind of compliant, even if it's internal compliance. So these are the main challenges that we're seeing. I think we're seeing organizational changes, the need to like consolidate into like a single platform to move into production, and then addressing the risks, right? Operational risks, bias, fairness risks, and security risks.
Thank you very much. As the second half of this session, I would like to get into the conversation. First, I'd like to ask Masa, what happened when you discovered the two companies?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Did you have a specific purpose of discover?
Well, as a kind of general teams, as a chief digital officer, kind of exploration of emerging teams or emerging technologies or emerging value-added services is one of my mission as a kind of job, as my job responsibilities. However, as I look to both companies areas, as insurance companies, use of the power of the data and the use of the AI capabilities, and in addition to the human kind of insights and the intelligence, these are the common set of businesses making themselves towards the next level, regardless of the industry. It could be applied to insurance companies. It could be applied to medical companies. It could be applied to manufacturing companies and so forth. So regardless of the things, power of the data, value of the data, and the power of the AI capabilities and the human intelligence. Those are the kind of set demand from the society. And as we use better these powers, I believe that in our society will be better off as well. So naturally, AI and the data-related areas is something that we should be particularly looking at as I assume the position. And in each company's meetings episode, about several years ago, I had a chance to meet with Mr. Kojin Oshiba, who is a co-founder of Robust Intelligence, and who is about to establish these companies and working together with Yaron-san. And as insurance companies dealing with the risks, I was almost shocked that Robust Intelligence is correctly addressing the types of the risks that we are going to face and correctly trying to deploy the needed services that any industry or corporations would have to have as they try to utilize AI better. That applies to our own company as well, because as insurance companies, we try to utilize AI across any parts of our business processes, from customer marketing, proposals of insurance products, and claims areas, fraud detections, and so underwriting, and so forth. So if you look at Tokio Marine itself, the AI risks would definitely be emerging and more serious. So, and also, as I thought that if we work together, we could be able to provide even better value propositions, providing robust intelligence services on the front end, and providing insurance-related capabilities from back end. That, to me, that looks like perfect combinations, between robust intelligence and Tokio Marine. With that, I reached out to him instantly and tried to make introductory meetings. And thereafter, we have a number of discussions together, and we have decided to work together, and we have proposed implementing robust capabilities within ourselves, try to make a POC, and now we are gradually expanding other areas of utilizations for robust capabilities. That's how we met robust from that's number one. Number two, Databricks. Slightly different. I was introduced to Ali-san through common acquaintances who both of us know at some occasion. And it was about a year and a half ago when we still have a very hard, severe restrictions on travel. So it was a kind of web-based communication in the first place. But as you can see from here today, I was inspired and shocked by Ali-san's strong personality, leadership, passion, enthusiasm, and collectively pointing out the needs of the data and the power of the data as I explained from my own interpretations. So the Databricks businesses collectively characterizing the desired and ideal ways of using the data, trying to maximize the extraction of the data values. So similar case, instantly, right after the next week, I reached out to the common acquaintances and trying to ask him to introduce Ali-san as a one-by-one meeting occasion. And then we started a conversation. And now, and similarly, we are now implementing Databricks capabilities to make our own capabilities. So thank you very much for two of you. Thank you, and thank you for the collaboration.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Ari or Yaron a simple question. Is it usual for two companies to offer services to same company?
Yes, we have many partners, and we have great partnership with Robust Intelligence. Our platform is very broad, so we try to cover broad set of use cases, all the way from data access, all the way to advanced machine learning. So it's very natural that there are many partners who can do many of the parts of this journey better than us. So we partner with them. Because it's focus, so the partners have focus in special areas, like in the case of Robust Intelligence, on how to productionize machine learning, and that way we can bring much better experience for our customers and partners. So yeah, it's very common, and we invest a lot in it actually to make sure that the partnerships can work well together, that they are integrated and seamless, so that it feels like one platform for our partners, so they don't feel like they are using many different systems.
And what do you think to be strengths of robust intelligence?
I think this productionizing models, getting them into production, is a challenge in the industry, but it's also the most valuable part of the machine learning and AI journey, and there are many challenges with it. So focusing on that aspect of the machine learning use cases is, I think, smart. It's businesses need it. There will be a lot of money there. So this productionization is where really the actual prediction happens live in real time. So is it a good prediction? Does it have problems? Is it different than you thought when you made the model much earlier, when the data scientist made the model 6 months ago? Are you seeing challenges? And those things are very, very important to customers. So it's a great focus area for the business.
Thank you very much. I will ask the same question for Yaron. What do you think to be strengths of Databricks?
I think that the strength of Databricks is that it's taking, I think, kind of one of the hardest problems that enterprises have right now, and just making it into like an amazing experience. And I'm saying this because, like, it's hard for me to count like the number of customers that we have that are Databricks native and they're using Databricks, and every integration that we add like in our product with Databricks, or whether it's kind of like things that are like kind of like PySpark or like or like kind of lakehouse, or like kind of Delta Lake, all these sort of integrations, they just like add more and more value to our customers. So the customer, like kind of, we're seeing enterprises for whom like kind of their number one priority is to get models deployed in production. They've done the POCs. They know that there's value in getting models and data analytics into production settings. And now they're facing this like humongous challenge, right? And we're just seeing like how Databricks makes it like very easy for them to basically do this sort of consolidation, have an enterprise, kind of like have it organized at the enterprise level, and become production ready. And we see that Databricks provides this sort of like ecosystem for startups like ours, right, to basically kind of integrate their solutions within that platform. So I think Databricks is solving like a huge problem and doing it in a fantastic way. So yeah, I think that's the value.
I think many of our customers, they have data science team. The data science team creates machine learning model, and the machine learning model can make predictions. They move it into production, and they have no idea what happens after that. Is it doing a good job? Is it not doing a good job? What's happening? Most customers have no idea. So this is the focus area of robust intelligence, which is very important to our customers.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I will ask Ari, what value can you or Databricks provide to insurance companies? What do you think the possibilities of insurance companies like Tokio Marine?
In general, we are trying to simplify and democratize within any company. But insurance companies, I think, have a lot of data, and they can predict a lot of patterns using this data. So that's big opportunity there. Like Tokio Marine has these recordings from all the cars that can be used to predict the risk. And that can be used for setting premiums. It can be even used to predict things that will happen. If you can predict things that will happen, then you can actually try to change the outcomes, right, with recommendations. If you do this or that, you can prevent this from happening. So I think for insurance business in general, AI will be extremely important, right, because it's about risk management. So there are lots of different use cases, and I think even beyond the auto space, there are others that you can get into. There's security is another one, cyber is another one, healthcare, there are risks, and insurance can be applied there, even green energy. So there are many different use cases you can apply AI to. But you have to make it simpler, and you have to make it work on the data sets and on the challenges that the enterprises have. But we are seeing great progress and great partnership with Tokio Marine. So we are very excited and very hopeful.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to ask Yaron the same question. What do you think the value can robust intelligence to insurance companies?
Yeah, I think that there are two dimensions, that robust, of value that robust intelligence is currently providing, and one that I think it can provide in the near future. I think it currently, when we're looking at insurance data in general, it has making predictions with insurance data has a lot of risks, right? There's the trivial operational risks, but there are a lot of risks associated with handling sensitive data, making sure that you're not making biased predictions, things are done in an orderly fashion. There's no leakage of personal information. There are all these sort of things that one has to be very careful about, and these are actual risks. So I think that is one level or one dimension. I think there's a second dimension that we will start seeing soon, and that is when you're as an insurance company, right? As an insurance company now is looking at all these companies in the world that are now deploying and using AI models, right? When these models are failing, right, there are huge risks, and a lot of these companies, in the same way that they're acquiring cybersecurity insurance, I think that we're going to enter a world where pretty soon companies are going to acquire and purchase AI insurance or ML integrity insurance, right? And the reason being is that when these models are failing, there are there are serious economic consequences. So in order to do that, in order to assess the risk of these companies, I think that an insurance company like Tokio Marine will can imagine leveraging technology like robust intelligence to start assessing that risk and building that kind of business similar to cybersecurity insurance.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me ask you a different question. The topic of AI risk we talked. If we fail to prevent an AI making a mistake, how would the responsibility be shared? Who is responsible?
Not us.
Masa, what do you think about the responsibility of AI risks?
It's case by case, of course. We need to carefully dig in what the causality of the incidents and how it ended up with actual losses. So we need to carefully look at what's going on in each cases that causes any troubles and risks. That being said, as we learn more and as we experience more of those kind of things that we need to consider who could be ultimately responsible for the outcome of the AI related risks, the whole society will learn as well. And as a result of that, we will be able to create the society whereby most of the risks and its attribute will be fairly understood by the significant portion of the participating people. That is what we'd like to create. Because otherwise, in every cases, we need to fight each other. That's exactly the nature of the people. In case of trouble, for those who incur the losses, they may claim it's somebody else. And for those in protecting, it's not us. That's we are seeing from 143 years of experiences. And in auto cases, initially in the early days, people must have been fighting each other and these are your fault, or not our fault, kind of things. But working as insurance companies, we try to mitigate the tension of those kind of conflicted situations and try to come up with the mutually acceptable protocols of solving the type of occasions, and making it as a kind of social common understanding of how we best solve those kind of situations. As to AI-related things, I'm not sure we are able to come up with that stages yet. But we hope that we are gonna create those type of protocols by working together with two of both companies. So that's number one. Yep.
Yeah, how do you plan to turn risks of AI into your business?
Well, of course, number one, as insurance companies, within ourselves, we need to fully utilize the capabilities of Databricks and robust intelligences for our own capabilities. That's number one. And number two, we need to come up with what could be the risks and what could be the potential outcomes and potentially conflicted situations, as you explained, and come up with the acceptable solutions for that. That's a very important mission for our companies, and we hope we could work together with two of these companies and come up with those kind of things for our broader societies.
Every day, the algorithms get better. So they are more accurate, so there's less risk. Also predictions, almost all algorithms, when they make a prediction, they will tell you how sure they are. So say, I think this is the answer, but this is the error bar. So the algorithm tells you how sure they are. So you can inspect and you can be more careful. Then also there is a whole research area on how to explain better the predictions and why. Right? If you say, this patient has cancer, why do you say that? You can ask the algorithm. It can start answering, because I saw this piece of the image and because of the age and this, and you can actually get more explainability, and that way you can involve humans also in the decision making where you can. So over time, I think we will get better and better at managing this risk. And society will get better at it. Over time, I think humans will realize that the machine learning predictions are better than the human predictions. So maybe the machine learning model is better than your doctor. Which one do you want to listen to? Right?
Yeah, I may add a couple of things in addition to what Arisa mentioned. That's something related to our aspirations of trying to be from the back-end players towards more of preemptive front-end players. Because if we only talked about outcomes or incidents or risks being apparent and present, it's more of back-end type of mentalities. So we need to be more front-end type of mentalities that we'd like to develop within our capabilities. In order for us to do that, especially in the data-related areas, we need to carefully look at how algorithms are being created and how an algorithm can be trained by additional data being fed within. So those kind of front-end type of analysis would definitely help to come up with what call this the AI risks as a present danger, and how we solve that kind of things once it occurs. So meaning that we'd like to, because if we just assess the risks of AI-related or data-related risks on statistical probability basis, nobody knows, because AI risks or data risks, it's quite like cyber-related risks. But if we are able to look at the algorithm and data neutrality and how data is being deployed, we'll be able to come up with even far better understanding of what causes that incidents or so. So in short, as you to your question of what could happen and what we can do, we'd like to be more transform ourselves from statistical probability oriented companies to more causality oriented companies, and we'd like to come up with services and products. So that's our notion, and robust and Databricks definitely helps us by fulfilling that aspirations as an insurance company's transformation. And by the way, I'm really proud of being able to reach out to two of the companies at the same time, because I believe that each of the companies has its technological edges, by far the cutting edge. But at the same time, I didn't know initially that the two of you knew each other and have been already working before we talked to each of you. So, but I'm really proud of my hunch. And so thank you very much for asking that question. So,
Good prediction.
yeah.
I think the best compliment that so the best compliment that we get from customers is that, and what we sometimes do is that you're the next Databricks. So that's.
Yeah, Yaron, what do you think about sharing responsibilities of AI risks?
So I think, in my opinion, I think there are three different aspects that we need to be thinking about, and then the responsibilities are based off of these three different aspects. I think number one is about standards, two is policies, and three is implementation, right? So I think standards, the responsibility there lies within maybe companies like Databricks and ours, and I think the machine learning community, the engineering community, academia. I think it's up to us to kind of create those technical standards, and we're responsible for them. And I think both Ali and I have rich academic backgrounds, right? So I think we're highly involved in this. And I think secondly, there's policies, and with policies, basically there's where there's government regulation. But there's also internal policies that forward-thinking companies are creating. So right now, there still are not enough concrete government policies or regulations in place. But what we're seeing forward-thinking companies like Tokio Marine, like a lot of other customers that we have, that are creating these policies internally for themselves, right? And then thirdly is about implementation. Right, and then implementation is about, now that we have these policies in place, like how do we execute and implement them, right? So I think the first category with standards, I think this is the responsibility of machine learning community, engineering, academia. The second one is policies, which I think is like the responsibility lies within I think government and internal and internally within enterprises. And then thirdly is about implementing these policies. And this is where I think we're responsible, and I think Databricks to help enterprises implement these policies that that they set.
Thank you very much. Let me ask Ari and Yaron, what are your frank impression of working with a traditional Japanese company? Yeah, some people said that large Japanese company are slow moving. What do you think? What are the cultural differentiations and challenges and the simulation of with US companies?
Be honest, Ari.
Okay. We are very excited about Japan. There is a lot of opportunity because it's a highly intelligent population, so it's skilled. The country and the leadership really believes in AI. So Japan as a country is unique on the planet because it's the number one country who believes in AI, because they believe AI is the only way to deal with many of the challenges of Japan, like aging and so on. So it's also a great opportunity for that. And they are investing a lot. On the other hand, the companies in Japan are a little bit more risk averse. So don't want to take the risk first. So adoption of some technologies is a few years behind, like cloud, and AI and so on. But it's coming. So you have the skills, you have the investment, you have the vision of the leadership and the population. So we think it's big opportunity. And we have many, many interesting, exciting use cases. So for instance, SoftBank uses Databricks. Over 40 million subscribers. They go into the stores, any interaction they have with SoftBank, all that engagement is using data on those subscribers and machine learning on the to engage more and drive more interaction with SoftBank. Nikkei actually has a product, Nikkei Wave, where it actually uses Databricks and AI to do to recommend articles based on personal interests. There's a company called Recruit, which can do matchmaking, and they can use AI in real time to recommend jobs, or for weddings or for houses or whatever you want to do matching of. So there are lots of great use cases. So we are very excited. So we think it's maybe 2 years or so behind in the adoption curve, but we think it's going to be bigger eventually. So we are very excited. We are investing a lot.
What do you think about?
Yeah, I second Ali. So I think if I start with the challenges, so I think the challenges in our engineering team knows this. The challenges are that typically Japanese companies are maybe would be a year or two behind when their cloud adoption, and this is which it presents a bigger challenge for companies to kind of move faster and adopt. However, they're as Elise is saying, they're definitely on the path there and getting there. We have some joint customers like Ali mentioned, and that are using Databricks, and even companies that are not using Databricks, we're identifying solutions for them. From our perspective, actually, we're seeing phenomenal adoption in Japan. We have I'm not sure which ones I'm allowed to mention here, so I won't. But we have it's an incredible business for us. We're opening an office now in Japan. We have a team there, so we're seeing very, very strong adoption. As Lee is saying, Japan is a big believer in AI and also a big believer in quality and standards, and we're seeing that people there very much understand risks of AI. So I think I think we're extremely excited about Japan. We're investing a lot of resources in Japan and seeing a huge adoption. So yeah, we're extremely excited.
How do you think about his opinion?
Okay. Well, first of all, Ali-san, Yaron-san, thank you very much for being so nice to Tokio Marine in particular, and avoiding the kind of specific statement about the company and a client. But anyway, first of all, we are very much excited about being able to work together with both companies, because that creates the new mentality and kind of mindset among the employees. Because as Ali-san stated earlier, the general overwhelming notion was that data-related matters belongs to IT department or somebody like data scientists or somebody like digital-related people. But now we are now receiving more and more interest and enthusiasm within the company, what Databricks means, what robust intelligence means, if and how we could apply that idea within their own department, and that type of discussions are currently taking place in a kind of as a matter of fact, and that's exactly the things that are as a step correct step towards making digital happen within the organizations. Otherwise, if it continues to be within the hands of an IT department, we are not creating an organization, democratizing data capabilities kind of things. That never happens. But gradually, it's taking place. So believe me, we try to make it happen. Thank you. Yep.
if you have any questions for each other, please ask. Masa-san?
To Ali-san, Yaron-san. Well, first of all, thank you very much for your support onto our company. We really very much appreciate your commitment to working together with Tokio Marine. That's number one. And number two, responding to Sho-san's earlier questions about Tokio Marine's organization. Well, there are still homeworks that we need to be doing in order for us to keep up pace with your speed of deployment, advancement, improvement, and implementation. We need to do that work from the bottom of my heart. And that being said, anything that we can accelerate that pace of speed, any piece of hints or piece of advice, not just for Tokio Marine, but by working with Tokio Marine, any advice for Japanese societies? Why? Because I'm just wondering, why Japan's always so slow, and Japan's always satisfied for being said to be slow. I would like to change that type of mentality as a country. So, any more positive and constructive statement about that?
Well, I think already my advice to Japan would be more like Tokio Marine. If all the companies in Japan are like Tokio Marine, we will get there faster. So that's my advice.
Yeah, that's cut point.
Yeah, no, I agree. Kind of like if more companies are like Tokio Marine, forward-thinking, and adopting technology, I think that'd be phenomenal. I think, like from our experience, I think let's also remember like the other side of it, that while Japanese companies could be maybe a little bit slower, or they're slower to adopt cloud. I feel like once working with a Japanese company, then our experience has been phenomenal, right? So I think people take kind of trials and experimentation like very seriously. They understand exactly kind of like the value that they want to get from the engagement, and I think that they follow through diligently. So I think I think that they're kind of like two ends to this. So I think while we like to see things move faster, we're also benefiting tremendously from I think kind of the business ethics and kind of the way that the Japanese do business. So yeah.
I also think. Yeah, sorry.
Please.
Go ahead.
Well, because your comments should be faster than before my comments.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to say I think American and Western companies can do a better job in Japan. So I don't think it's Japan's problem. I think it's American, European companies think, Japan has rich history, different culture. They do business using partners, for instance. And American companies think you can do business in Japan exactly the same way as in USA or in Europe. And they say, well, we did exactly the same thing in Australia, so it should be the same in Japan. But it's not. We have to learn the culture and do business the way Japan does business. So I think it's a little bit also our companies. Japan is not Australia.
Well, thank you, Yaron-san, Ali-san, for your kind compliments to Tokio Marine. That's probably because, as I understand, Tokio Marine is aspired to become a truly global insurance companies. That's exactly what I hear from our CEO on a kind of a daily basis. Because as a snapshot, our businesses, more than half of our insurance businesses reside on overseas, other than Japan, and with the rest of half in Japan. So as we grow, at the current pace, our overseas businesses or global businesses will be far more than we used to have in Japan. Going forward, we need to be a truly global insurance companies. That might be somewhat accelerating the pace of speed, for Tokio Marine, and increasing the degree of passion and enthusiasm about becoming so. That's number one. But for more general Japan as a society, if you look at the digital data, AI-related areas, border doesn't matter. It's already truly global, and we are, regardless of which industry you are in, they are already in a global AI, environment and data environment. So, we cannot just be, excused by saying that we are Japanese companies in that areas. So we need to, totally sensitive and responsive to what's going on in the world. And this is exactly the notion that Japan as a country would have to have if they are to correctly address the AI and related things. So that notion, if once they get the speed of the things, will definitely accelerate, to my understanding.
Yes, thank you very much. Yaron, do you have a question of both of you?
Yes. Ali, why is the Databricks event the same day as the Snowflake event? I'm kidding.
We are in Moscone Center, so we picked the date long in advance. So, it's true. I think we scheduled years ago, over 1 year in advance. You have to. Moscone Center is very difficult to book. Good question. Which one? Question back. Which one are you going to go to?
We're going to be at the Databricks event. If you guys will have us, I don't know, but
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost time to end. Finally, I would like to each of the three of you to say a few words. Please let me know, what do you want to focus on in 2023? Here first, Masa.
Oh, well, I was not expecting that, but anyway. 2023 just started, and we are even aspired to make our activities to be more global. Because until 2 years ago, we were highly restricted even to make our business trip to US. And it's really hard to digest what's happening and what could happen to this digital related areas. But this year seems like the previous restrictions and obstacles has been now being pretty much lifted. So we'd like to make ourselves to a top speed, and so that we'll be able to catch up what's going on in the rest of the world, so that we'll be able to at the forefront of the social development, so that we are able to provide meaningful services for the developing societies. So that's my aspirations of the year. So I hope that we could make another visit to this office and Databricks office in very short time.
Yes, thank you very much. Next article, please.
I hope I can visit your office in Japan this year. So that's what we want to do this year. In general, we might have a recession. Public companies are worried about their cash spend, their earnings. Private companies are worried about how long their money is going to last. We are fortunate, so we have quite a bit of funding, and we are private. So our goal this year is asymmetric strategy. Our asymmetric strategy is to invest, because we can invest. We are not public, and we have the funds. So we will be investing a lot in Asia, in Japan in particular, actually, but also Europe, also Brazil, also America, everywhere, basically. In terms of what we are doing on our technology, we want further simplification, so making it simpler. So a lot of investments in making it much, much simpler, so that more and more people in the organization can use Databricks. we will announce some products that make it easy for even people who are not technical to get some insights from AI and machine learning. So you don't have to be a Berkeley PhD to use AI. So that's investments and making things simpler is the focus of the year.
Do you want to IPO this year?
We have not shared IPO plans, and it is not completely in our hands. Markets are not complete. We don't control the markets. We will be public at some point, but it's not the most important thing for us. We will be public, but we think AI and machine learning and data will impact every business, every organization, every job, every vertical. That's important trend for decades to come. So IPO is a small event in that picture, so we are not really focused too much on it.
Okay, thank you very much. And finally, Yaron, please.
Yeah, I think this year we'll see. I think kind of from our perspective, we'll see a lot of growth and expansion. With existing customers that that are now kind of like fully deployed and kind of ready to execute. So we'll see a lot of that. We'll see. Again, we don't control the macro, economic conditions, but we'll continue on seeing like healthy growth. I think with new customers, we'll see. We'll see more kind of like some open source efforts that we have here at Robust Intelligence. So it's not open sourcing the product, but we'll see some basically kind of I think a very significant contribution that we'll be making to the community pretty soon. And then lastly, I think this year I think we will see a lot of people internalizing AI risk due to let's say generative AI, right? We haven't, we went through like a complete fireside chat, and and we haven't said generative AI. So I think that presents huge awareness for AI risk. It presents exacerbates risk and the challenges. So Robust Intelligence is I think is very much on the forefront with with what we're doing for companies with validation of large language models, images, speech, and we'll see like a very, very big push and offering for generative models as well. So I think it'll be an exciting year for sure.
We hope to partner closer this year. That's also, I should add that.
Yeah, so thank you.
We should do that.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's time to end. I'd like to end the session. Thank you for your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.